everyone, and welcome to First Chapter Fun. It is 11:30 on Tuesday. I just had to think there for a second. Okay, good, that's all working. You might see that I am at a different place. I'm just going to close that. So this is the first time I've moved stuff around a little bit, and I hope my audio is good. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me, because I switched places and I'm actually now in my office. So welcome to First Chapter Fun. It's wonderful to see so many of you already. We have, oh wow, we have Anita, we have Al, we have Glennie, we have Amanda, we have Hank, of course, we have Jennifer. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. I mean, I have lots of congratulatory messages as well, because it is my pub day, yes, for Sister Dear, but we're not going to talk about that, because we're going to talk about other authors' books. Actually, before I tell you about today's book, and I hope you can see me, I hope you can hear me on Facebook. If anybody is out there, please do leave me a message. I hope I'm live on Facebook. I should be. Slightly different setup today. So I have two shout outs that I would like to make. One is to Natalie Jenner, whose book the Jane Austen Society publishes as well today. Already a smash hit, already doing exceedingly well, and I read for her on First Chapter Fun on April 21st. So not now, but you can go back through the archive and find that episode. It's episode number 36. And also we have Tracy Clark. It's her pub day as well. And her book, What You Don't See, is also out today. And we will be reading, oh, and actually speak of the, I was going to say the devil, but that would be really, speak of the angel. Tracy just joined. I was just mentioning, Tracy, that your book, What You Don't See, publishes today as well. And we will be reading from Tracy's book in September. So, of course, stay tuned, obviously, because, you know, you like First Chapter Fun just as much as we do. So if this is the first time you've joined, this is the place where every Tuesday and every Thursday, Hank Philippi Ryan, my partner in fictional crime, and I read the first chapter of a different book, not ours, but other authors, every Tuesday and every Thursday, the days with a T. So hopefully you'll be joining us for many of those. We have lots and lots of books lined up all the way through to, well, December now, would you believe? For some reason, I'm not seeing any comments on Facebook. So I'm just going to do something very quickly. The trials and tribulations of changing your setup and doing stuff live, I tell you, is always interesting. So I'm just going to open this up, and hopefully, there I am. And hopefully, oh yes, now I see the comments on Facebook as well. All is right in the world. That's lovely. Lots of people have joined. We have Jim, we have Kaylee, we have Jill, we have Gabe. This is just wonderful. Thank you so much. So many of you. I can't see the comments when I'm broadcasting, so I have to open a separate window. But all is right in the world. I have you all here. I see you all, and you can hear me properly. That's fantastic. All right, so let's get to today's book, shall we? I'm excited. Are you excited? Because I am. So today's book is Catriona McPherson's Strangers at the Gate. This one here, and I actually remembered that I have an arc of this one because I had it already to show you on the Amazon Fire, my son's Amazon Fire thing that I always steal every week. So give me a thing so I could download the pictures. But here we go. Now, funny story. Well, funny for me anyway. I suppose it's one of those you had to be there stories. But at BoutCon in Dallas last year, Catriona and I were on separate panels, but ended up sitting next to each other in the book room, where you have all of the books laid out that you can purchase and then have the authors sign. And she was just so funny. She was hilarious. And that's one of the things I hear about Catriona so often, that she's just delightful and really, really funny and just a hoot. And I can confirm that again, because I attended one of her panels and she had me in hysterics the whole time. So this is her book, Strangers at the Gate. Now, I have not broadcast from my desktop on Facebook for a while. So just in case I get booted out on either of the systems, whether it's on Instagram, at First Chapter Fun, if you're watching on Facebook, but you haven't been to our Instagram account yet, or on Facebook in the group First Chapter Fun, if one of them boots me out, and the screen dies and I freeze or whatever, don't worry, I will be back. I'll just go back to the platform that chucked me out and I will start the recording again. But so far, fingers crossed, so good. All right, so let me tell you a little bit more about Catriona, and at the end of this I also have two little things I need to update you on. Is that too much glare there? No, that should be all right. Okay, so here we go. Catriona McPherson was born in Scotland and lived there until immigrating to the US in 2010. She's a full-time writer who hopes never to have a proper job again. Amen to that. To that aim, she writes the Dandy Gilver series of preposterous 1930s detective stories set in the old country, the Last Ditch Motel series of humorous contemporary mysteries set in the new country, and a strand of psychological thrillers, including this year's Mary Higgins Clark nominee, Strangers at the Gate, from which I am reading today. Catriona lives on 20 scruffy acres in Northern California with a black cat and a scientist. And you will find her at catrionamcpherson.com. And Catriona is Catriona. And you'll find her there, and on social. I'll pop up all of the links as well. So, as always, a huge thank you to Catriona for allowing me to read for her, and also to the publisher Minotaur and Little Brown, who agreed and gave us permission to read for Catriona on First Chapter Fun, because we always do this with the author's permission and the publisher's permission, of course. So let me tell you, or read the description of Strangers at the Gate. You can see that, yes. Yeah, that works pretty well. Yeah, great cover, eh? You just know it's ominous and eerie, and I love it. Okay. Put the glasses back on, otherwise I'm blind as a bat. All right, so Strangers at the Gate by Catriona McPherson, and this is out now, so you can get your hands on it now. Not now, but once I'm done. Finny Doyle and Paddy Lamb are leaving city life behind them and moving to the little town of Simerton. Paddy has landed a partnership in a local solicitor's, and Finny's snagged a job as a church deacon. Their rented cottage is quaint. Their new colleagues are charming. They can't believe their luck. But witnessing the bloody aftermath of a brutal murder changes everything. They've each been keeping secrets about their pasts, and they both know their precious new start won't survive a scandal. Together, for the best of reasons, they make the worst decision of their lives. And that's only the beginning. The deep, deep valley where Simerton sits, and the even deeper side cuts where the sun never shines, are unlike anywhere Finn and Paddy have been before. They are not the only ones hiding in these shadows, and very soon they've lost control of the game they decided to play. Where do you turn when everyone's a stranger and you stop believing what your own eyes see? Sounds good, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Now, Catriona, I haven't spotted Catriona yet on Instagram, and I'm not sure if she's watching yet on Facebook. Yes, she is. Yes, she says, I'm here. Too busy inviting people to say hi. That's so funny. So yes, so Catriona is watching. She is here on Facebook, so you can leave her questions and comments and pop some stuff in to the comments for her to respond to as I'm reading or thereafter. Lovely to have you, Catriona. So glad you're able to make it. Now, Catriona did say that she wanted this to be read with an accent. Funny story, or again, one of those you kind of had to be there. You are getting an accent, Catriona, but you know, this one. But I did actually have a Scottish boyfriend many years ago. I don't know how old I was, 18, 19, something like that. And we went out together for about 2 years, I think, 2.5, somewhere around there. And within about 6 months, I actually started to say things like, oh no, and things like that. And my accent got thicker and thicker and thicker. And we split up. I didn't have the boyfriend anymore, but I still had the Scottish accent for probably about a year. So, and I still can't do a Scottish one properly. So I'm not going to embarrass myself. This is the one you're going to get. So I do apologise. Let me show you the cover again. Strangers at the Gate by Catriona McPherson. And I will now jump right in with chapter 1. Before. Looking back, it's tempting to say I knew from the start, as soon as Paddy said the word for the first time. I can nearly convince myself I shivered at the sound of it. Simmerton. But I'd be lying. Truth is, there was a while back then when everything seemed fine, or even better than fine. Everything seemed golden. If there were worries, they were the usual kind, that everyone has and then remembers laughing. If I had doubts, it was only because I was prone to be doubtful, and the odd little frights and freakouts, they were just stories to tell the grandchildren come the day. One thing's for sure. It arrived in my life dressed up as a lottery win. Paddy came bursting in after work one night, brimming. He clattered round the flat looking for me. I was in the loo, so he started telling me through the locked door, upping the volume to be heard over the flush and taps. "Partner," he said when I came out, "I'm not even 40. He held up a hand. "I'm trying not to get ahead of myself before you say anything. I know I haven't even been for the first interview yet." "I wasn't going to say anything," I told him. "You were invited to apply. That's good. I didn't even know that happened." "Invited to apply." He echoed it as if the words tasted sweeter every time he repeated them. "And the commute won't be too much?" I asked him. "The commute'll be a beast," he said. Finally, he was setting down his briefcase and shrugging off his suit jacket, sliding it onto its hanger. "It'll be pretty dull stuff once I get there too. Country solicitors, a bit of conveyancing and a lot of wills." "But partner," I said, "under 40. When he came home from the second interview, I was waiting at the big window in our living room, looking down along the street, and I couldn't tell anything from his walk, all the top of his head bowed against the cold wind. When he got up to the flat, he took my hands in his. His face was so solemn, his beautiful face that I was still learning a year into our marriage, that my pulse began to bump. "He's leaving me," I thought. "He's busted me. What else would make him look like that?" "It's not boring, Finn," he said. "It's anything but. It's specialised work and I'm made for it. I get now why they chose me." "Oh? And that's not all. Have you been checking online?" I sighed. I was supposed to be looking for a full-time post instead of what I had, which was 3 mornings clocked on and 70 hours of unpaid overtime. But I was too knackered, and I didn't believe the job was out there to be found. I'd been telling myself that Paddy's good fortune would have to do for us both. I was new at being half of a whole, but I'd got that bit off. "Because look," Paddy said, letting go of my hands to scroll through his phone. He showed me the page of the Church of Scotland website. "And I've got you an appointment to go down and talk to them." "Why would a town like Simmerton need a full-time deacon?" I said, once I'd read the job advert through twice and couldn't find any catches. "Will you go?" was all the answer I got. "Of course, but there's going to be a stampede. I've got no chance." I was wrong. One stormy night in November, with the windscreen wipers smearing and squeaking and the wind rocking the car, Paddy drove me down to Simmerton Parish Church, where I met the minister and some of the elders. The job offer came pinging through as soon as we got back to the good reception on the drive home. A year guaranteed, and maybe more, depending on funds raised. Like winning the lottery. Golden. Then, 3 weeks ago, more. Paddy came in from work so flushed and bright-eyed, I thought he'd been at the pub. He'd found someone who wanted to rent the flat for a year, he told me, at a price that would cover the mortgage every month with 500 smackers to spare. "This could be our chance to get started," he said, "on the..." He didn't say housing ladder. He knew I'd laugh at him, but that's what he meant. As far as I could see, we already were on the housing ladder. We owned this flat, with its high ceiling and its steep skirtings. We owned our car outright. He had no student debt. This mystery tenant was a solution to a problem we didn't have. Where would we live? I said. I put a bookmark in my paperback and set it on the arm of my chair. We had an armchair in the kitchen. That's how already started we were. Somerton, Paddy said. Where else? I don't want to be so far from my mum, I said, in case there's a crisis. That's what I thought, said Paddy. But then I did it on the sat-nav. He was digging his phone out of his pocket, as if I wouldn't believe him unless he showed me. It takes no more time to get up from Somerton to your mum and dad's than it does to get all the way out there from here through the traffic. It's not closer, but it's quicker. I could see the point of that. If I was racing to my mum in an emergency, I'd rather be belting along quiet roads than crawling behind 4 buses. But where would we live? I said. Even if it makes sense, it would mean house hunting while we're getting settled in our jobs and all the expense. Well, this is the funny thing, Paddy said. Lovett's wife came out for lunch with us, and she said they've got a gate lodge at their place, and we're welcome to it. A gate lodge? Do they live in a stately home, like? Wait a minute, when was this? Paddy shrugged. Just a country house, I think. Widdershins. Widdershins. I'm not looking back through cracked glasses this time. That's an unlucky name to give a house, I said. Probably old, said Paddy. Not their choice. He shucked off his jacket and threw it through the kitchen door towards the coat pegs. It slid to the floor, crumpled on top of my shoes. And when was this? I said, trying to make sense of it. When I went down to sign things, couple of weeks back. Want a cuppa? Couple of weeks back, your boss's wife offered you a house, I said. And so you said to her we were keeping our flat in Edinburgh. The conversation moved on before I had a chance. He was facing the other way, filling the kettle. I stared at his back. I didn't want to be rude, so I sort of just said that was very kind and I'd let her know. I watched him carefully when he turned round to face me again. Right, I said, eventually. Lovett Dudgeon's wife offered you cheap digs in the arse end of nowhere, and you left it hanging, and then someone just happened to ask if they could rent our flat? That's pretty much the size of it. If one of my repeat clients at work was telling me all this, in that voice, not meeting my eye, I'd know what to think. He had accepted the offer of the lodge and scouted round for a tenant without telling me. It's like something from a fairy tale, Finny, he said. A little cottage in a wood, latticed windows and crooked chimneys. So you've been to see it then? Paddy cleared his throat. We drove past it on the way to the house for lunch, like I said. Actually, you said you'd gone out for lunch, and you said you thought Lovett Dudgeon had a country house? He was watching me now, chewing at the inside of his cheek. You're always telling me I don't take charge, he said. Make up your mind. After one beat, I laughed. It was true. I loved Paddy, had loved him, or fancied him at least, from the moment I first clapped eyes on him across the crowded pub. But he did drive me nuts with the watchfulness and the careful planning before any step, big or small. Once I'd met his mum, it wasn't a mystery anymore, but it was still annoying. Tell me this, I said. Have you signed anything? No way, not without your say-so. If you want to stay here driving 2 hours a day, that's what we'll do. But if you want to have a house practically free and be right there where you need to be for your job... My job's only for a year, I said. So's the lease, said Paddy. So's the tenant. It's perfect. It is, I said. It all fits. It's golden. Golden, Paddy repeated, and he laughed. I had never heard him laugh like that before. He laughed at jokes and mean little videos online, but that was the first time I heard him laugh like a child from delight. It was irresistible. So that was the opening of Strangers at the Gate by Catriona McPherson, and you just know that all hell is going to break loose. because it is not a lottery win, obviously, and bad stuff is going to happen, and you're going to have to read it to find out what. So this book is out now. You can get your hands on it already. And I see there are so many lovely, lots and lots of lovely comments already. This is just brilliant. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm quite flustered now. There's so many comments. I don't know what to do with myself anymore. So let me tell you about Thursday's book, and don't run off because I've got another couple of things to tell you as well. So Thursday's book is The Lucky One. Too much glare? No, it's not too bad. So this is The Lucky One by Laurie Raider Day. That will be Thursday's book at 11:30 Eastern Time, as always, of course, on First Chapter Fun, Facebook and Instagram. And it is my launch. So two things before you run off. It is my launch day today for Sister Dear. Thank you so much for everyone who's already commented and sent me lovely messages. And I will catch up with you all. I'm so touched. It's just lovely. And there's actually a launch party going on tonight online. You'll find the link either in First Chapter Fun on Facebook or directly on my author page. And I'll be chatting with my partner in crime, fictional crime, Hank Philippi Ryan. That's tonight at 8 p.m. on both Zoom and on Facebook. And don't forget, on Thursday, if you have not seen this already, we are having an audiobook chat with narrators Lauren Ezzo and Alex Wyndham. That is on Thursday this week, the 28th, at 8 o'clock, 8 Eastern Time. And we're going to be chatting about their careers as audiobook narrators and how it all works, and celebrate a little bit the unsung heroes I find sometimes they are, and they're just two absolutely wonderful people, and I can't wait for that. So there's again this will only be on Facebook because we can't get the four of us on Zoom on Facebook and Instagram at the same time. So if you're not in the Facebook group yet, please go and join First Chapter Fun, and I will post the video to Instagram afterwards, but you won't be able to catch it live. So my iPad's just telling me the storage is full. Oh well, that's great. Okay, so those were my little messages for today. So I really hope you enjoyed Strangers at the Gate. And oh, hold on a second. Hank is just sending me a note. Hold on. Oh, So Hank says, can you please stick around, anyone who's watching, because she's going to hop on. She's going to come back onto Facebook and Instagram in First Chapter Fun because she has a message to share. So, all right, so don't go anywhere because she's going to hop on right after this broadcast finishes. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a lovely Tuesday evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are based. And I hope that we will see you again on Thursday. So until then, or tonight for the launch party. So until then, as always, please stay safe, stay kind, and we'll either see you tonight or we'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.